Hi, everybody. My name is Dr. Lillian Coley. I wanted to talk about the 2022 injunction that's been seen on the internet from New Jersey, saying that myself, and I think they said my godson, and he wasn't even part of the case then, could not file anything in the court. I just want to let you all guys know that that information is not correct. Every order that you see, especially from New Jersey, does not have legal value. One, the court itself said they had no jurisdiction over the case. But let me tell you how the injunction came about. The injunction came about when I was seeking to vacate a void order. Let me say it again. I was seeking to vacate a void order that was obtained by fraud regarding Mr. Carter, JZ. That's what we were trying to do. We were not asking for paternity. I wish I could say it in Spanish, but I can't. We were not asking for paternity. I was not asking for paternity. My godson was not part of that case. This case was done, and I wasn't even around. This injunction was done behind closed doors. According to Kenneth L. Winters, he said he paid for it. That's what he said. He said he paid good money for these orders. That was one of them. So at the end of the day, I'm just going to say, I don't know all the stuff, all the details. All I do know is that if I went into the court right now in New Jersey, because I got property there and I have a standing in the state, ain't going to be no problem. I can promise you that. And if it was, all of the stuff that I'm talking about will come out. All of it. So I doubt very, 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 very seriously if they're going to try to block and stop me from going into the court to do whatever. But that's part of the problem, everybody. They had to try to use a mechanism to block it. So what I did was in the fall of 2021, I filed a motion to reopen the family court case and to vacate the order that was obtained by fraud regarding Mr. Carter obtaining it by fraud. And it was based on him having personal jurisdiction with the state. Once I did that, I gave it to a supervisor, a Black lady, and Judge Katz, who's the administrative judge who did this so-called injunction, she came and took the package from the Black girl who was a supervisor who helped me put it together and held onto the package for 3.5 months. This is Judge Katz, Judge Deborah Silverman Katz. Then she sent me my filing feedback, and she sent it back under the purposes of the refund was based on mileage reimbursement, as if I used to work for them, which I never did. Because that was a package that would have let them know, and over again, they already did know, but it was a package that was going to go through the system again on fraud, not paternity. Fraud, not paternity. Fraud, not paternity. Just for the record, that Wanda Satterwhite only asked for paternity 2 times, and it really was 1.5. In 2010, and then 2011 of March 2011. 2 times. I asked for it 1 time in New Jersey, and Rymir asked for it 1 time in New Jersey. All this other stuff about what everybody kept asking, lies. Nobody was interested in paternity. Once the case turned into a fraud case, that's how we worked it. Fraud, fraud, fraud. Fraud on top of fraud, on top of fraud, on top of fraud for years. And that's what they were blocking. So by time 22 came, Kenneth L. Winters, he had enough. So he went deeper into his pockets and somebody else's pockets to pay for an order called an injunction. And believe me, it's not worth the paper it's on, because they told us Jersey said they don't have jurisdiction. They don't have jurisdiction. So if you ain't got jurisdiction, you can't make orders. You can't have it both ways. So that's the story, everybody. I just wanted you to know that. And then very quickly, I want to say that my godson is not going to have a problem with the court trying to enforce any type of attorney fees. Are you kidding me? Mr. Carter has unclean hands with the whole case. So you might have paid for stuff and did what you wanted, but the law is still prevailing. That's what's happening. You are seeing in real time the law prevailing. So the unclean hands of the fraud case don't give you no standing to make any decisions, and you don't get any remedies or you don't get any remedies. Your party is over in that regard. So here we find the injunction came about in 2022. It was based on fraud. It was based on an order obtained by fraud. And then because I was trying to vacate a void order, because a fraud is already fraud and it's no good even before you reverse it. It has no value. So I was trying to vacate it so they can't use it in other places, which they're trying to do now. So I was trying to vacate the order based on personal jurisdiction when they lied about the property holdings in the state of New Jersey. And then the judge decided, Judge Katz heard about it, because she only thing she does is assign judges. We did it on the trial level. She comes down and take the package from a supervisor, and then goes and holds on to the package for 3 months because she's trying to figure out what to do. Her and Kenneth L. Winters, they have an injunction. I wasn't even there. I never was served. I found out about that 3 months later. And then when I tried to appeal it, they blocked it. This is a true story, everybody. This is why we're doing the stuff we're going to do. You're going to see stuff come out that you ain't never seen before. It's going to be mind-boggling. But what happens is when you use your money to try to do something, in the end, it don't work because the truth always prevails. And that's the same thing as happening with my godson. So, and he might want other things besides it. He got fraud with his case too. He might want other things as well. I only want to deal with the fraud because I think the fraud is a big part of the no due process. And that's also what the court was trying to cover up in terms of my goddaughter being underage. That's really what they're trying to cover up. That they covered the cover up because she was underage. You knew she was, and that's basically statutory rape. It is. So they trying to cover that up, right? But at the end of the day, it is what it is. We got to go through the court process. We got to go whatever. But people in high places, I mean, real high, good places too, are falling what they need to fall in terms of this case. So you got the two things, the two main things that was what's going on here. And that is the truth of the matter. This is the truth, everybody. This is not a fairy tale. This is not fictional. All right. So there's the injunction. It's not worth the paper it's on. You try to respect orders from a judge, but it has to be based on the truth. This was, of course, based on hearsay and all these other factual, unfactual things that Kenneth Winters paid for. And then it was no legal basis for it. It never was. They knew that. Of course, we feel it's a cover up. And then as far as Rymir paying attorney fees for what? Because you got something in late, because you never did this and in order for you to have a motion to dismiss to be successful, you need to contact the person. They need to be some sort of communication. You had no communication. So going in the door, you're messed up and wrong. But at the end of the day, you have unclean hands. Your unclean hands are fraud, 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 not paternity, fraud, fraud, fraud. The only thing, Tommy, when we talk about paternity is when it deals with an underage girl having sex. That's the only time we're going to have that conversation. Underage, right? So that's what I want everybody to know. Just know what you know and get the facts. The people that's out there are doing this because they're paid. It's a propaganda. They want to push false information, but it ain't working, right? And the fact that my godson, probably not a part of the case, didn't help him, but that was somebody in a high place, very high, Lord, very high place, y'all. They gave that information for him to do based on circumstances. And it was done. It was done timely, and it was done before the motion to dismiss came in, even though some of those requirements of a motion to dismiss wasn't even met by the defense. So that's another story, everybody. Y'all want to keep up with it, keep up with it. It's all good. It's all good because justice is going to prevail. We want to pray for the judge that she don't get caught up in stuff, because some people were part of this propaganda, putting out false information. They will do anything to be a part of the inner circle and to get money. Some people will feed their kids off of dog food, food they got in the wrong way. That's what I'm trying to say. It's food they got from the wrong way. Money, I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. Money they got the wrong way. They will use that to feed their children and themselves because they don't have dignity and worth and value. So at any rate, we want to pray for our judge and judges all over the land, that they will follow the law. I'm not looking for nobody to do no freebies for me. You got to do me no favors. I want you to be human. I want you to be authentic, and I want you to be compassionate. But I also want you to follow the law. Please follow the law, because the law prevails. The law was what makes this system work. The law is what this country was built on. And I'm very grateful for the people that are behind this. You never know whose cousins are out there. You don't know how people are related. You got to be careful. And at the end of the day, I'm thankful to have people in the family and very close to family, what you call a legacy of people, because my family was a part of the political world, part of the police forces, both in New York and Pennsylvania and Philadelphia. And I'm just glad about it. And it's a legacy of family members in there, which you would never know who they were. Be careful, everybody. And I'm just grateful that they're in other parts of the government, like the FBI and the Secret Service and some other organizations. Just thankful for that, how the connections are made long before this even happened. So at the end of the day, be encouraged, everybody. This is Dr. Lil on Keeping It Real with Dr. Lil, and be encouraged because of the truth. And take the truth and let it prevail, and then make your own decisions about it. Because I'm not going to sit here and drive nobody crazy over it. I'm not going to drive myself or nobody else. It is what it is. And what we have to do is ask God to help us sort out what's truth and fiction if we're going to take it on, right? Because you're going to carry filth. Don't carry filth, everybody. Don't do it. So God is good, and he's always going to be good. Look forward to talking to you next time. This is Keeping It Real with Dr. Lil. Thank you so much. God bless everybody.